of the top.
You know, one of the things that impacted me so much, and I think you look at it more on the depth of a person, is like how a person so funny and so successful, but at the same time, it was like he was entertaining people from the outside, from the outside,
right.
and was dying inside.
Yeah.
You know, that was, to me, it was like, wow, I never saw it coming. You know, so that a comedian was depressed. You know, I was like, wow, like that impacted me a lot. So.
But think about those words you just said. It doesn't really go in the same context.
Right.
A comedian, depressed.
Yes.
Comedy is what makes us laugh. Comedy
Right.
is what makes us feel better. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, how can we wrap our minds around a guy who makes a living by making everybody laugh?
Right.
And making everybody feel good.
Right.
But then he himself feels like he has no one. Enough to the point to where he takes his own life. That's so hard to have to deal with. Whether you are close to that person or whether you see it, you know, and not to take this subject to a drag, but it's just tough when, you know, you hear that, you know, a person takes their own life and then there's just a line of people that, you know, that actually care about you.
Right,
and you,
right.
for whatever reason, can't see that, you know?
Yeah.
Estamos hablando, because this is a Spanglish show.
Yes.
Yes.
I like the words that he said.
That's
You should
really,
translate
really
that.
Really good.
Yeah, I
O
love
sea,
it.
estamos hablando, el tema de hoy es hablar de las películas de los 90 que nos impactaron, que nos encantaron. Estamos hablando de Miss Doubtfire, una película que hizo Robin Williams, un gran comediante que desafortunadamente se quitó la vida. Y estamos hablando de cómo una persona tan talentosa, tan cómica, un carisma tremendo, que proyectaba tanta felicidad y por dentro estaba
Muriéndose. Yeah.
Y yo creo que los artistas en general, just comediantes, cantantes, actores, o sea, yo pienso que el artista en realidad está proyectando algo que tiene por dentro.
Sí.
Y muchas veces it's not something positive. Sometimes it's tragedy. Sometimes there are
Right.
things that you go through that help you create, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And in his case, he probably, the only time he felt good when he was on stage making people laugh.
Right.
But inside, he get off a stage. It's like La Salsa, Héctor Lavoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's probably the biggest artist ever during his time.
Right.
Pero era un hombre triste.
Yeah.
Hombre triste.
Another guy, yeah.
Tú sabes that he was his life was sad.
You know, I wanted to add to that because when I was growing up, I didn't see my mother for 19 years. You know, when I met her, you know, when I actually got to sit down like we're sitting down today, 19 years had passed. And the first thing, you know, one thing she knew for a fact, and I think the artistic side of me,
Right.
both of my parents, they were in a band. I didn't know that, but I learned that through that conversation. And she handed me a book of the life of Hector Lavoe, which is, you know, famous salsa player or
Oh,
artist.
Mark Anthony did a movie with
Yeah,
J-Lo.
El Cantante. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that movie, that was based on his life, and you know, she gave me this book, and I remember that book changed my life because I got to get deeper into, you know, writing. You know, when I wrote music, it was a lot deeper because of the book and because of the life that he portrayed. And a lot of time people, they're like, you know, they're so sad and they're writing, and the only time they have, like you said about Ron Williams, that, you know, it was like their time to shine, their time that they felt important was while they were on stage, you know. And that's what happened with Hector Lavoe, and I believe that people have that they have something happens along the lines, you know, and nobody knows about it but them and God, right? And they're there, and they're going, and they're trying to, you know, put that pain,
That grief,
and,
yeah.
that grief in the back of their heart or whatever, in that back room where nobody knows it. But at the end of the day, you know, it definitely gets up to you, and you have to heal that before you can do
No, and
anything
those
else,
are,
you know?
going on a spiritual level, en un nivel espiritual. I think God uses people like that to show us an example
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
of what can happen.
Right.
You know, that fame is not everything, money's not everything.
Right.
You know, I see it. I mean, I've been in the music business for 25 years, and
Right,
you know,
right.
and I've seen people that you say, wow, that person's happy, they're not happy.
Right.
You know, so that's why it's important. And I think one of the few guys, I mean, changing a little bit of topic, that nowadays that I admire as an actor is Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys get a chance, go on YouTube and watch one of the speeches he gave. I think it was to a
For
college.
Yeah.
graduation,
Yes.
Man, you'll cry.
Yeah.
And he gave a speech last year. They gave him the what do you call it? The AFI Achievement Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
Very few people go up in Hollywood or they talk about God. He talked almost the whole time about God.
Yeah.
Wow.
That thanks to his talent, I mean, thanks to God, he had this talent.
Mm-hmm.
And when you understand that, it brings you.
Well,
Yeah.
Humble, you know, humble.
it's funny you say that because I've watched that a couple of those speeches,
Mhm.
and you know that when he was a kid, his mother owned a beauty salon. I didn't know that, and while he was there in the beauty salon, a lady used to come all the time. She was a prophet for God, and she told him, you know, you're gonna do great things for the kingdom
That's
of God.
right. That's right.
And I was
That's
like,
right,
wow, that's amazing. And did you know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that he actually helped the guy that played,
You talk about Creed. What's the guy's name? Man.
Michael-
Apollo. No. You talking about Michael?
It's
Jay something?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B.
There you go.
Jordan, yes.
There you go.
He helped him get, like, he founded or paid his college or something like that. And, you know, he gave a speech and he said, you know, thanks to you, you know, to Denzel Washington, I'm here where I am today. And I just want to thank you for that. And I was like, wow, you know. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of people are doing a lot of things behind closed doors and we don't know about it,
Right.
you know, and that's important.
No, that is such a big deal. You know, when you look at all of that, and like I said, you know, there's a lot of movies. Look, there was one talking about Robin Williams. Oh, before we continue, there's a few people watching us.
Right.
Hay gente que nos está mirando. Jorge Jordán, que estuvo hoy acá con nosotros
Saludos,
compartiendo.
Jorge.
El pastor Carlos.
Carlos.
Jesús.
What's
Su
up, brother?
Álvarez.
Oh, nice to see you, brother.
My brother Jordan.
From Dominican Republic, Mayra, she's my aunt.
Nice.
Ah.
Thank you.
Vamos a comer sancocho.
Vamos a comer sancocho, tía.
Mira, mi papá está ahí.
Saludos, Orly.
El abuelo. Ya tú sabes.
Denle share,
Salud.
denle share.
Denle share, compartan esto.
Yes, please.
Estamos aquí hablando
Bueno.
temita que
Go ahead.
One of the movies that I really, really liked too, it was this horror movie, Tremors. Tremor.
Oh,
Tremors.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the underground.
Oh my God, I
Is that
love
Kevin
that
Bacon?
movie.
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
I
Now
love
wait
that
a
movie.
minute.
Oh
let's,
my
let's,
God.
let's, if we're gonna go the horror route.
Oh my God.
Now, a little disclaimer here because horror movies are very. The word I want to use is particular.
Right.
Because notoriously, horror movies sometimes tend to be a little cheesy, over the top, you know,
Right,
especially
right.
movies from the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
You know, but Tremors is a memorable movie. Now, what I will say about Tremors is I love the first one, but the second, third, fourth, fifth,
Oh, no,
sixth,
no,
all
no,
that,
no.
I'm not
no,
like that's
no, the first one I'm talking
yeah,
about.
the first one, yeah, no problem. And the first one had credibility. You had Kevin Bacon in there, you
This
know,
other guy,
It's a suspense in that
yeah,
movie.
you know, so it was that, you know, that was a memorable movie, yeah.
you remember that movie? I'm sorry to cut you off, but that movie that Kevin Bacon was in, and the guy that was with him in that movie Tremors, that he was the guy was following him in the car, and he was a biker from New York.
Oh yeah,
You know what you're talking about?
Oh,
That
my
was a
God.
good movie, Rome. I forgot the name of that movie.
Yeah, look,
Wow.
let's do this.
we gotta look it up.
Yeah, that
I'm gonna look it up
movie-
now. While you guys are
But-
talking, I'm
Wow.
gonna look it up
Before I
now.
forget, I was gonna say something about Robin Williams. There was a movie that I don't know if you guys ever saw that. One of those tearjerker, una película esa que te hace llorar y llorar.
Right.
Patch Adams.
Yes.
You ever saw that one?
Yes.
That he's starting to be a
Yes,
doctor,
Yes.
and then at the end, all the kids put the red
Yes.
rose.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That movie. Oh my
Tu esa
God.
película.
He was in a like
You
a,
like cry.
it was in a hospital. They were crazy, right? Some of the kids were a little crazy.
And no, they had they had
Disabilities?
like leukemia and stuff.
Oh,
like that. He
okay,
would
okay.
go in there and make them laugh.
Yeah. I know
He
what
would
you're
make
talking
them
about.
laugh
Yeah.
and stuff, and then he decided to open up like a hospital that was free for people, you know, and
Yes.
help people
yes.
out.
Wow.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. Yes.
Yes. where he was first working in stocks and then he decided to go into.
That's right.
He became a courier on the bike delivery.
Yes.
Yeah.
That movie was
Yeah.
fire.
Well, Dice was big.
You know what movie impacted me? Like, I'm not sure if it was
He
in the
said the
90s.
90 movie had a great
Era?
movie for Tim Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
Tom Hanks.
that was gonna be one of
Tom
my
Hanks.
selections. I was gonna go to.
And it's
to
funny
that.
because in the '80s, I remember him from Bosom Buddies. That he was in a sitcom,
The Money Pit,
The
Turner
Money
and Hooch.
Pit.
Big Turner and
Turner
Hooch.
and Hooch.
That was my favorite movie.
Oh
one of my
no!
favorites.
Before that, Bachelor Party.
Yeah,
Oh
Bachelor
my
Party.
God.
That was a
the
fun.
original.
Wait a minute, let me see if I'm, because I'm a little like, so Tom Hanks is the one, no.
He did
That's
the
Tom
movie.
Hanks
He
is-
did
Cast
Forrest
Tom
Gump.
Hanks is Forrest Gump.
Forrest
Yes.
Gump.
Sorry, oh, that movie
yeah,
was
that
so
was in the
good,
90s.
but I
That's
got
when-
so mad with that movie.
I think it was the movie that changed
I
his
know.
style. That he
This
became
is
like
Seattle.
was
Philadelphia.
no, but Philadelphia. Philadelphia was the movie
Yeah.
that
movie
he
was-
got an Oscar for, and then the next year he got it for Forrest Gump.
We
Like,
can
yeah,
talk
2
for
years.
years.
But
about
see,
Forrest.
here's the thing: if we're gonna dive into Tom Hanks, let's go this route. Tom Hanks was a comedic actor when he first started,
Right.
and then, like he said, he transitioned
Castaway.
into more serious roles. Now, Castaway is great because you have to understand that Tom Hanks became a character actor. What a character actor is a person that can engulf themselves in their role and
Right.
change their appearance.
Right.
Christian Bale is a wonderful character.
Denzel
actor. But
Washington,
right,
all
these guys that can literally change themselves,
Apollo 13.
and you would not know who they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like physical appearance.
Mhm.
So Tom Hanks actually grew all of his hair out, the top of his head and his
Oh
beard,
my God, that
and
movie was so good.
he actually gained a lot of weight for the early scenes, and then he lost a lot of weight for the scenes where it was just him and a volleyball on the island.
Wow.
You know, so
I
being able to do
know.
that, changing your weight, changing your facial features, your hair features, all that stuff for the sake of the movie role, like again, like that is
And
awesome.
hooking up with
That's
Steven Spielberg also helps.
Well, yeah, that too. But if I'm still on Tom Hanks, the number one favorite Tom Hanks movie of mine, Castaway was good, Philadelphia was good, all of these other movies were great, but Tom Hanks' number one movie for me, and it came out in 1997, was The Green Mile.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah. Wow.
The Green Mile
that-
was
that-
such a
that-
powerful movie. The
Wow.
Green
Correctional
Mile,
officer.
yes.
Michael,
And it had Michael Clark Duncan.
Duncan. Yeah, he passed away.
Green Mile.
Wow.
Yes, The Green Mile.
Green Mile.
Now, this movie is about Tom Hanks is a police officer or correctional officer in way back in, I believe, the early 1900s, and Michael Clark Duncan is caught and put in jail for a crime that he seemingly didn't commit, which he didn't. So now it shows their situations and their storylines in there and their experiences with the inmate Michael Clark Duncan.
Right.
Now, in that movie, Michael Clark Duncan possesses this supernatural power where he can take the bad from a person and heal a person.
Right.
He ingests the bad from a person. So if there's a person that has a cancer, he'll take the cancer out and he'll take that and then he'll take it out and he'll heal him, which he did at the end of that. But what makes that movie so special is the fact that he took the bad out of the warden's wife. She had a deadly disease.
Right.
He went and they found out that he had these healing powers. He goes, they sneak him in there. The warden wants to kill him, but Tom Hanks convinced him, hey, look, this is gonna work. We need to do this. And he goes and he takes this power. John Coffey was his name in the movie.
Mhm.
So John Coffey goes and takes the bad out of the wife. And then he takes that and they're telling him, all right, John, let it out. And he doesn't let it out. And they're like, hey, what's going on? So they get him back to jail. And when he goes back in jail, the guy that actually did the crime that he was accused for was in jail. And he went in and he saw him and he let that bad out to that guy. And
Right.
that guy died.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and at the same
It was
time,
a sort of spiritual movie.
right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
the spiritual part is where John Coffey still was on death row. They still electrocuted him. And I remember the part that made
Wow.
me cry was the fact that Tom Hanks, all the other guys, they knew the goodness of this guy. This is a spiritual blessing, this guy.
Right.
So this guy is still
And he helped Tom Hanks, remember?
right. He did because Tom Hanks had a bladder infection or something like that, where it was hard for him to use the bathroom, and it hurt, kidney stones. I think.
Yeah.
So he goes and he still dies and he
Wow.
gets killed. But the moral of that movie at that point was Tom Hanks then became a guy that could live for a long time. So Tom Hanks, he understood that his punishment for letting God's gift die was for you to stay alive. And the mouse, Mr. Jingles, I think that was his name was. Him and the mouse were the only ones that was alive. Tom Hanks' wife died. All of his friends died. And in the end of the movie, he said that it was hard because how do you develop a relationship with somebody knowing that they're going to die before you, no matter what you do? Wow. That's like all of us being here, and I have eternal life, and I get to know you guys for a lifetime, and you pass away, and I'm still alive. So you got to think about death in that way.
Right.
Do you want to have eternal life? Do you want to have a life where every single person you meet is going to die and you're going to stay behind and you're going to be alive forever? I don't want to be alive forever.
Spooky, right?
It's kind of scary, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
You know, so that, the Green Mile was very,
I
very
trying
powerful.
it,
I know, yeah. Like for certain instances, like, you know, if I know that I'm never going to die, you know.
I'll figure out what to do.
Yeah, but the Green Mile was such a powerful movie. You know, I remember that was one of the first big time movies that, you know, made me shed a few tears. And to this day, when I watch it, it always gets me. It always makes me think about the gifts that God gives us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And in many different forms.
Right.
You know, so that's the glorious part about these movies is when you can find the message in them. You know, that's what makes these movies so impactful.
Right.
Because we can realize the messages in a comedy or in a drama or in an action or in a horror or whatever, and now we're here talking about it and other people are sharing the same sentiments.
Well, I'll tell you a movie that impacted me that was right on 1990 that I was 10 years old, but for some reason
Home Alone.
Home Alone. No. That was a great movie, but I don't know if you remember a movie called Ghost.
Oh
Ghost?
my God, Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze, Whoopi Goldberg, Demi Moore.
Oh my God, that
Oh my
movie
God.
made
To
me
me, Whoopi
cry.
Goldberg was the one who made that movie. You know,
Yeah.
like the whole.
Yeah.
But that was very, very like
Yes.
different type
I
of movie
cried.
for Hollywood. You know.
You know, I don't remember the guy's name. You remember that guy in the movie that he's like, oh, they pushed me.
Yeah, the guy in the train.
Yes.
This is
Oh,
my
my
train.
train.
His
Get off my
name
train.
is. Yes,
He's one. He was in a lot of
that
movies.
Yeah, he's in a lot of
Well,
movies.
Look, that's fine. I'll
You-
find
you-
it while you guys talking. I'll find
You know
it.
what's funny? I used to have a home ec teacher that looked just like the guy.
Oh yeah, he looked like.
And I one day, you know, she got so mad at me.
Espérate que mi amada se conectó ahora mismo.
Oh,
Carolina.
yeah.
Vincent
Saludos.
Schiavelli.
Vincent
Vincent
Schiavelli.
Chiavelli.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I used to have a home ec teacher.
Wow, that movie.
I
that
like
was
the part
crazy.
when the girl was inside and he was trying to prove that he was like that he was there, no?
Right.
So when they were like with the penny,
Yeah,
like through
that
the
was,
door,
yeah,
that was like, oh my God,
that's
that,
powerful.
That movie
that
was,
is that
to
pretty.
me, that's one of the top.
You know
movies.
that movie
powerful.
was amazing.
But I like how they show.
That
It's
was-
funny that you mentioned Ghost because literally 2 days ago, I watched Ghost. It was on TV.
Oh really?
And I watched it. Yeah.
Wow.
See,
I haven't
there's
seen it in a
some
long
movies
time.
are timeless, and some movies when they come on, I will watch them. So I literally just watched 2 days ago. So I'm clear on the plot. You know.
Right,
So
right.
what I like about that is the fact that when we think about ghosts, we think about a being that can walk through walls and that can walk through people, and that's transparent. I can't grab this cup if I'm a ghost. I'm gonna go right through it. So in that movie, I like it because when he meets the guy on the train,
Yeah, he
he's
shows
wondering, yo, how are you hitting the newspapers and how are you moving people out the way? And he's like, yo, and then he comes back to him and he says, I'm not leaving until you show me how you do that.
Yeah.
So then the guy mentions to him,
Determined.
the guy mentions him here like, you stubborn son of a you know what. And then
Yeah.
they get off, and then that's when he's telling him, hey, you gotta feel it from your gut. You know, and then
Wow.
he has to channel his energy, and then he keeps trying,
I
then all of a
know.
sudden he can push the soda can, then he pushed the shoe off, then the guy gets mad, and then the guy breaks the window and all the cigarettes come out, and he's like, oh, what I wouldn't give for a drag.